Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs. Hello and welcome to this Mopar episode of Classic Restos. But before I go any further, these people are expecting you. It's thanks to Shannons. Ask about multi-policy discounts and sign up for the Shannons Club. Call 134646 for a quote and see more at shannons.com.au. For oils, coolants, additives and technical assistance, Oil Right, use Penrite. And Hare & Forbes has the range. Buy online at machineryhouse.com.au. Now, this is one event that showcases our Mopar products here in Australia like no other. It is unique. We have a great location here on the New South Wales-Victorian border, and it's the largest outdoor Pentastar event. So, it goes without saying, welcome to the 2016 Chryslers on the Murray. If you like your Chryslers, Dodgers, Valiants, DeSotos, Plymouths, Fargo trucks, and anything else that was grown on the Mopar tree that I have missed in my professional voiceover here, well, you will love Chryslers on the Murray. This event started back in 1992 with an incredible 60-car roll-up for its first year, and everyone has been seriously infected ever since. The Mopar make has a great respect across the classic automotive realm. Even most Ford and Chevy guys have a soft spot for a favourite model laced with the Pentastar embellishment. Mopar products are renowned for their automotive prowess, their mechanical durability, their unique styles, and of course, when it came to the American department, their amazing outlandish colours, performance packages, and decals that other makes weren't even game to try. Yep, these were the cars that were designed back in the golden age by car guys, not the bean counters. And what an exciting time it was. Chryslers on the Murray celebrates this amazing brand, and of course the great fraternity of people that comes along with it. And that includes the RFS people that turn up every year and help out. The Albury-Wodonga Chrysler Club are a small group of dedicated people, and the assistance from the RFS is priceless. I love cars with accolades, and if you don't know where the Valiant first started in Australia, here is an example. Welcome to the first ever Valiant Shape. This was the car available to the Australian public in 1962. This model was the R Series. It was a direct import from the USA, and just over 1,000 of these cars sold as quick as hotcakes straight out of the back of the bakery. The locally made S Series continued after that. The first Valiant took the market by storm, but perhaps too much car too early. To some, this new revolutionary space-age style was almost a gimmick. The first Valiant was almost too good to be true. This car left the Holden and the Falcon in the dust. It had the largest, almost indestructible slant six at 225 cubic inches, a massive 145 horsepower or 108 kilowatts. The Valiant had a style of its own. A new modern lower line bonnet, better visibility, quieter decibel levels on the inside, 14-inch wheels, the most interior room, the first to offer an alternator instead of a generator, torsion bar front suspension, and a best-in-the-business 3-speed torque flight automatic transmission with a push-button linkage was available, and second gear on the red line was Holden's top speed flat out. But as great as the Valiant was, it was almost the most expensive and remained the lesser in automotive build numbers. So now it's time to get around and see how good this year's Chryslers on the Murray really is. Away we go, Chryslers on the Murray for 2016. It's the 45th anniversary of the legendary Charger. We've got Stephen. How are you, Stephen?
Very well, thank you, Fletch.
That's the way. What a way to start the episode. Not only do we have a pristine restored 1971 Charger, but we've also got an export car. Now, this is incredible because it's a one-of-one car. Tell us the deal, Steve.
That's correct. It's an RT two-barrel, but it's the only one that was ever made with an automatic transmission and power steering. So it was made for export to the UK.
So one of one, there was one sole person over in the UK that saw the Australian Charger back then and thought, I want one.
That's right. And managed to get an order through Chrysler. It was a special order accepted, number 301, and basically somehow convinced them to put an RT out with an automatic transmission and power steering to drive in London.
Some little telltale giveaways of the car, some signs of export. We've got some little fender lamps or some lights down the lower part of the front guards. The door handles are different. They're almost like AMC.
That's right. I believe they're either AMC or DN5 truck door handles from an Australian model. Yeah. So and apparently Chrysler just used whatever they could that was different to send it abroad.
Okay, now Stephen, how did you find this car?
A good friend of mine, Arnold Patch, actually called me. I was living in London because of my wife working over there, and he called me and said, I know where the RT is at. He said, it's for sale, and he said it was in a strange place called Braintree, Essex. So I looked on a map, got Google out, and said, well, it's an hour and a half drive. So I got in the car, drove up, and decided I had to buy it. So I bought the car. I sent it straight to Southampton. I told my wife she would not see it. Because she thought if she saw it, she'd think I was mad paying that kind of money for it. But I just sent it straight to Australia and gave it to the experts and said, this car needs to be saved.
I can imagine the looks on the people of London when this car, brand new, would have been around the streets of London. I mean, wow, would this car have turned heads or what?
I would have thought so. I mean, something really, really unique going around London like this in this colour and these stripes. Very amazing.
I mean, a 265, a ton of power for a six-cylinder engine, the sporty interior, the sports dashboard. I mean, it just cries performance all day long.
Absolutely.
Lovely to see the options for the car. The power steering, for example. I mean, I still can't get my head around the one-of-one. That's just amazing.
It's amazing. It's amazing that they would even allow an automatic to be made in an RT, given its sort of background, sort of Bathurst heritage. Yeah. This is the original number plate that came with the car, and it was actually the one that it was registered with back in 1972.
But have a go at the size of the damn thing. I mean, wow, and it weighs a ton. I mean, it's got a big bit of sheet metal behind it. I mean, you'd need a 265 over in London to push that through the wind.
Absolutely, make a good frisbee.
Spotlight emphasis this year, 2016 Chryslers on the Murray, the legendary Australian-built Charger, and you've done the brand proud this morning. Well done, Stephen.
Fletch, thanks very much. Wonderful to talk to you. Cheers.
You are watching the incredible 2016 Chryslers on the Murray. Back with more Mopar classics right after this.
Penrite, Australian-made, family-owned and operated. Make premium quality engine and racing oils, warranty-approved coolants, automatic transmission and manual gear oils, a complete range of engine and fuel additives, heavy-duty and industrial products for every application. Visit penriteoil.com for more information. Penrite, Australian-made for Australian conditions since 1926.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. From a garage jack through to a lathe, Hare and Forbes has the range. And Hare and Forbes Machinery House are Australian owned, established since 1930. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannons' laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannons understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
Time for a big car. Now, on today's show, we have Glen. How you doing, Glen?
Good, thanks, Fletch. How are you?
Mate, fantastic. Got to be on a day like this here at Chrysler on the Murray for 2016. And what about you? Your 1972 Chrysler Newport. What a car.
I call it the Big Blue Whale because, you know, that song, I jump in my Chrysler, it's as big as a whale. So I named it the Big Blue Whale after that song.
B-52s.
B-52s, that's it. Yeah,
you got to love them.
Yeah.
Glen, awesome car this. It's original as is how it would have left the factory. No one's got it and done anything to it. No one's cut it down. No one's modified it. It's just a beautiful, straightforward luxury car. Back in its day, $5,400 as new on the price tag.
Yeah, that's about right, yeah.
Before we start talking about the interior, talk about up front. Now, we've got a 400 up there.
400, yeah, 400 two-barrel.
While we're at the front of the car, it's hard not to notice looking down the side and the length of those rear quarters. I mean, being a two-door car and a full-length car, those rear quarters, they're amazing.
Oh, they're enormous, yeah. They're the largest rear quarters I've ever seen on anything, I think.
And of course, now we're into the brocade interior, beautiful seats there, and just to sit in this car, and it belonged to a lady as well.
Yeah, apparently she had it originally. Someone bought it from deceased estate then, so I guess she passed away, and I didn't bring it into the country. Someone else brought it in.
And the poor dear, you know, she bought this brand new and she would have felt like $1 million driving this away from the dealership back in the day.
Oh, she would have, yeah.
What I love about these Chryslers is the amount of chrome around the front. They make a statement. It's kind of like a carry-on through from the Super B and the Coronet, how they had those highlighted sections of chrome around the grille. I reckon that looks superb.
Yeah, I like it too. I had a 74 Charger and it was the same. It had the same sort of grille with the large chrome and the centrepiece and that.
We talk about the front of the car, we look out the back. I tell you what, Glenn, you've got a nice rear.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's got a nice shape about it. The horizontal tail lights there with the die-cast divisions, I mean, what style?
Yeah, they had style back then. You could tell one car from another back then. They all look pretty much the same now, don't they?
Glenn, thanks for being on today's show. As I said, big car, not only that, a two-door car, and wow. Need we say more about this? Good on you, Glenn. Well done.
Thank you, Fletch. Good on you, mate.
You're welcome. You know, not every car has to be a showstopper. It's interesting to look at cars that have been preserved as original examples. Now, we have a one-owner Town Country Ute, which makes it even more special. How you doing, Rod?
Good, Fletch, yourself?
Good, mate. Tell us the story on this. It goes back into your family quite a way.
Yeah, 72, brand new, one owner. It's my grandfather's brand new. Passed down to my father, passed down to myself. Maybe passed down to the younger ones.
That's good. You got your son here today as well, representing the next generation that's coming on through, which is always good to see. Now, Rod, tell us about your grandfather. What was the story there?
Yeah, my father worked for Chryslers back in 72. He ordered this for him for his 60th birthday. 5 months later, he passed away, so Dad got it back, went into his garage, and like 20 years on, he handed it down to me. And a couple of years ago, I thought, I'll get the old girl out and take it down to Albury, show it off.
It's a 265 Town & Country, VH Town & Country Ute, has not been restored. You know, that's marvellous. Have you had to do anything to it at all, Rod?
I thought I'd treat it some new carpet last week just to come down here a bit more comfortable. But yeah, no, 59,000 miles, genuine.
Now, the tray in back there, it doesn't look like it's had a hard life. I mean, what has it done? Has it delivered hay bales or something?
Pretty much, Fletch, pretty much. He worked for the Sun Herald back then, and all he did was a newspaper run, 5 o'clock in the morning, dropping it off to news agencies.
Oh, newspapers out of the back of the ute?
Yeah, no internet back then, Fletch.
Mate, inside it's got it's got bucket seats as well. It's, I mean, Town & Country, with the upmarket side of things with the utes, but a stylish vehicle.
It is.
Kind of makes you feel special, doesn't it, to have a vehicle that is so unique. Not only that, with that history of your grandfather as well and having his car, yeah, that to me, that's the sort of stuff that I think is pretty hard to beat.
Oh, it's gold.
Not only is it gold, pardon the pun, but the colour of the vehicle, that's pretty close to gold as well, Rod.
Pretty much. Hot mustard, in fact.
Hot mustard?
Hot mustard.
We're not talking about colours of cars, we're talking about what you put on a corned beef sandwich.
Pretty much.
Rod, thanks very much for showing off your Town & Country Ute. So many hundreds of cars here this weekend. The only TNC like this. You brought your sons along as well, following on through the generations of our classic car fraternity, mate. Thank you, Rod. Well done.
Thank you very much, Fletch.
Good on you, mate.
Love your show.
Time for a truck on today's show. Hello, Aaron.
G'day, Fletch.
Mate, what have you found? Tell us about it.
Oh, I found a 1936 Dodge 1.5 tonne truck.
Where'd you find this?
Actually down the road from the Adamoga pub.
Looks like the last bloke that had a few, he parked it up and just left it there, right?
Pretty much.
Aaron, this is amazing. This truck from the 30s, have a go at it. I mean, where do you start? I mean, and the most unique thing too, still runs.
Yes, it does. It still runs. Just have to put a little bit of fuel down the carburetor to get it going and stomp on it and she'll start.
How many years did it remain just sitting there before you came along and started it?
Oh, geez. I think she was decommissioned in 45, 46 and then sat in the shed since then.
Isn't that unbelievable? See, back in these times, guys, really, in some cases, a couple of decades ago, a lot of these vehicles were never traded in. They were parked up on the farms and they just went and bought another replacement vehicle. To think that this thing is just so old. Funny too, it's got different spark plugs. What's the deal there?
I don't know what the go is with that, but when we pulled them out to get it going, there was tall ones, short ones, fat ones, skinny ones. They were all different sizes, but it still ran.
You're going to leave it alone, aren't you?
I'm going to rebuild the engine and gearbox and just leave the body as it is.
Yeah, because you'd never get it back to how it was. You just couldn't replicate this perfectly, could you?
No, to do it perfect, it's going to be a lot of money and time.
Now, Aaron, if anyone comes up to you and says dirty rat, don't take offence. I mean, this old truck comes with its own rat.
It sure does. I actually found it under the seat when I was reupholstering, and she was the only one that was intact, so we put a 2-pack resin over it and tried to preserve it.
The only one? Or how many did you find?
Oh, there was like nearly 100 of them in there. Really? All just crunched up into a big pile. And
Aaron, it's an awesome find, mate. Well done. Great score.
Oh, thanks, Fletch.
What a testament to the Dodge product. Here we have a 100% original stock standard engine that's 80 years of age. Apparently around 1945 it had a bit of a recondition because it was getting a little bit tired. Here we come through all these decades. This engine will crank and it will start. You can't get much better than that. You know what? I love this Dodge truck. Just try and imagine what it must have been like 80 years ago and how proud the gentleman would have been that bought this truck brand new. Time for some style and some class. A 41 Plymouth. How cool is this? G'day, John.
G'day, Fletch. How you going?
Good, mate. Good. Beautiful car, this. Love it. A businessman's coupe.
That's the one, yes, it is.
1941. Not many people back then would have been able to afford a motor car.
No, they were a fairly rare car, the businessman's coupes. Yeah.
John, I love the car. I mean, it's a two-door, it's rounded, it's got some class, it's got some style, hasn't it?
It does. That's what appealed to me, the actual shape of it.
Well done. John, flathead 6 up front, what size is that?
It's a 230. 230. Yeah, a couple of strong birds on it.
And we look inside. Look how opulent it is. I mean, the big padded seats and the roomy interior, the embellished dash, beautiful steering wheel. I mean, just class all day long.
Yeah. It's the boot that appealed to me. Yeah. The size of the boot. Yeah. That's what took it over for me.
I mean, when you look up there, it's like looking into a cave. Yeah. And at the end of the cave, there's a couple of suitcases there as a bonus that they threw in.
That's right. Yeah. That's something I added onto it. Yeah.
John, you look at every aspect on the front of the car with the bright work. It's all solid die cast. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, well, back then that's what the resources they had to use, all the steel, and that's how they came up with all the chrome work.
Yeah, they blatantly wasted their resources in a time when they could.
That's right.
You gotta love it.
Definitely.
Awesome stuff, John. Now, before you go, what's your thoughts on Chrysler on the Murray for 2016?
Very good. Good turnout. Very good turnout. Yeah. A lot of good cars around.
Yep. If you love your Mopars, or even if you don't, this is one event that you've got to try and put on your calendar.
Definitely. Yeah. See you next year.
Yeah. Good on you, John.
Thank you. Thanks, Fletch.
No worries, mate.
Thank you.
You know what? I think you should reward yourself with a Fletch tour. Have a look at this. There is nothing quite like a Fletch tour. Carlisle or Ford Nationals, GM Nationals and Chrysler Nationals await you.
Book a Fletch tour. It's amazing.
We've seen some absolutely amazing cars. What an event.
Experience Route 66 from Chicago to Vegas or choose the Detroit tour.
I would make it a point to go to Fletch Tours and come to Detroit.
There are 5 Fletch Tours. Select the one that suits you best. See FletchTours.com or contact All Things Travel, Lara.
We've always had a few cars. They're all special. The T-Bird.
Oh, that's mine.
The Combi for when we want to get away. The XR8.
It's going to be a classic.
They're all insured with Shannons.
We've also got Shannons Home and Contents cover,
which helps protect our automotive collectibles, tools and memorabilia in the home and garage. If you're motoring enthusiasts like us, it's got to be
Shannons.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
If you need a new piece of equipment for your workshop, you need Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Hare and Forbes Machinery House have showrooms around Australia and New Zealand that will have you browsing for hours. See the largest range of industrial and workshop DIY tools. You will be greeted by friendly, helpful staff, and you can buy from anywhere online at machineryhouse.com.au. Hare and Forbes Machinery House. Find your closest store at machineryhouse.com.au.
In 1926, Australia's Penrite Oil Company was established. Almost 90 years of research, development and refining under the harsh Australian conditions has made Penrite Oil what it is today. Precision, performance, reliability and protection. Championship winning products. Trust Penrite.
Moving on through 2016 Chryslers on the Murray, we have Kent now, the secretary of the Albury-Wodonga Chrysler Club. How are you doing, Kent?
Good, thank you, Fletch.
That's the way, mate. You've done it again. Record numbers here for this year. Sensational.
Yes, it is. A great turnout, great weather. Valiant Charger Spotlight always brings out a big crowd.
Yes, the 45th anniversary this year. How many Chargers do we end up with on the paddock?
207, I think. 207.
I reckon every Chrysler product that was made in Australia, there's a good chance it's here this weekend.
I reckon that's the case, yeah. That would be true, I reckon. Yeah, absolutely.
Mate, the turn up too, thousands of people through the grounds as well over the big 3 days?
Yes, we get about 5,000 public entry over the weekend, in addition to the people that come with the cars. Yeah.
Okay, proceeds of the show off to?
Generally, we give most of our proceeds to the local fire brigades. Yep. Looking behind us over here is a fire truck that's been purchased by the Bonegilla Fire Brigade, mostly through our donations to them. And the two other local brigades get donations as well.
Look, blokes like Gary from Thaguna and all the team that turn up here every year, they do a sensational job in helping out, don't they?
They do. Without their manpower, we wouldn't be able to do the show. No question.
Okay, Kent, now the website. If you're watching the show and you want to find out more about the Albury-Wodonga Chrysler Club, and of course the largest outdoor Mopar event here, not only in Australia, but the Southern Hemisphere. What is it, mate?
Is www.chryslersonthemurray.com.
There you go.
Find us on Facebook.
There you go. Facebook as well. Pretty straightforward, eh, mate? Yep. Good on you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ken. What's an episode of Classic Restos at a Chrysler show without a Valiant Pacer? How you doing, Paul?
Very well, thanks, Fletch. Yourself?
Oh, good. Better now that I've found this. This car is incredible. Absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much, yeah.
I mean, we talk cars that have been restored, but then you've got your next level. And Paul's car is at that next level. Now, before we go any further, Paul, when you found the car, what was it like?
It was an original car, but it was tied. So for me, it was the pick of the cars to do a full resto on.
The VFVG four-door body style, a very well-balanced car. In fact, Mark Osler on the Shannons Club did a story on the Pacer. They're one of the best balanced four-door race cars. They're not a real wide car, but they're a long car. Very successful in racing, even with the Slant 6225, and of course stepping up to the Hemi 245, a little bit more power there. A real tremendous car in their day.
They were, that's right. 2 years ago I was talking to Leo Gagan at this show, and he said to me then the ultimate car for him would have been the VG with the E49 engine and the 4-speed gearbox. He just said with a long wheelbase, they handled really well. Much lighter than the Charger, so with those sort of power of the six-pack would go extremely well.
Gets back to that nice balance. Now, what you've done up front here in the engine bay, Paul, is absolutely superb. Factory colours. It's great to see the yellow rocker cover there, air cleaner. They're made solely in Australia by Chrysler sticker there, which graces the top of the rocker cover. Again, right down to stickers, decals, everything's just... You've just hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, well, part of the criteria was to have it factory correct.
Now, we have a look on the inside. Wow, the interior, it's like looking at a sales brochure back from 1970. It is divine. It's got the new car smell. Everything is just perfect on this car.
Yeah, look, again, that was just part of it. I wanted to have the car factory correct. It was originally a neutral interior colour, a little bit difficult to source because most of them, for some reason, were black. Yeah, so it's come up really quite nice. The mustard with the cream's nice.
Mate, it's absolute credit to you, Paul, and you're here with your wife, Suzanne, as well. What does she think of the car?
Oh, she has to love it. Yeah. She's been with me all the way with the build. So
she's got no say in it.
She's got no say in it whatsoever.
Good on you, Paul.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Fletch.
You're a good bloke, mate, and you just got to love the Pacer. Beautiful car, mate.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Well, there you go. You have witnessed just some of the largest outdoor Mopar event in the Southern Hemisphere, the 2016 Chryslers on the Murray. If you can make it here in 2017, it'll be certainly well worth your while. In the meantime, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, until next week, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch, and I thank you very much for watching. You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Classic Restos TV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au. Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons Insurance, Penrite Oil, Hare and Forbes Machinery House, and Pace Farm Eggs.